Hey, welcome to New Jump City, everybody, where we recap the week in American and Japanese sequential art. I am your host, Christian, the unbiased king, Espinal, and joining me through Discord, it is the man, the myth, the legend. It is Joshua, Gangsta Time Cole.
Well, it's called Partner, but it should be called Gangsta Time.
What's good, Chris? And what's good, everybody listening?
Hey. We are here. We are back. It's just me and Josh today. Brian couldn't make it, unfortunately. But we're here to talk about some manga. Let's get into plugs. Let's not waste any time. You can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Joshua Cole, where can they find you?
You can find me at JDCole_37. That's on Instagram. And Jump City Josh, that's on X.
Oh, yeah. You can follow Brian at b.esp on Twitter and Instagram. Check him out when he's streaming at twitch.tv/It's a Punchline. You can follow the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram. Please do. That would be nice. You could email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about. And we'll talk about it during our pre-show chat show that we do every week. We got a new one coming this Wednesday. You know, it'll be a lot of fun. So don't forget to email your questions or comment under the YouTube that we're fully up to date. I'm not going to let it fall behind again. But yeah, we're back on YouTube. Subscribe to us on there. Like, share, subscribe, comment your thoughts on the chapters, any questions you may have, all that stuff on the YouTube. If you prefer audio podcasts, which is pretty much what we are right now until I get my new computer, you can check us out on iTunes, Spotify, not Google Podcasts, because apparently that's going under. But Pandora, we're on. Amazon Music, we're on. We're pretty much on every podcast platform you can imagine. So check us out on that. And yeah, that's it. That's all of the plugs for now. Without further ado, let's get into the show.
Bloody Cross.
My Hero Academia. This is My Hero Academia, chapter 423, One for All versus All for One.
Alternate title, and possibly one of the last. Hold that.
Hold that indeed. Last we left off with My Hero Academia, we have been seeing the epic battle between All for One and the entirety of the hero world that remains after the big war. So they have been trying to make a path for Deku to charge through and deliver one last blow to All for One to end this whole thing. And the chapter ended last week with Deku actually making it to All for One and punching him with an one for all punch. And we open up pretty much exactly where we left off. The punch is a lot more forceful than it initially looked, as like the entire weird evil man structure of All for One is tipped over its side. So much so that like All for One is now monologuing to himself in his head. Is like, how could I not realize? I should have noticed the hyper regen wasn't working on this haggard excuse for a body. Something should have felt off. No, he's to blame. No, all of them. They conspired. They jumped me. You know? He said each individual
These
only
motherfuckers set it on me.
Each individual only represents a feeble threat, but as a united force, somehow they overwhelm me, dulling my sensitivity without realizing. Sukuna could never. This could only happen to fucking All for One.
Yeah.
Sukuna has been getting jumped.
Sukuna would have been fine. He just would have created a binding vow.
Yeah. Bro's been getting jumped for the last 6 months. He's fine.
Right?
Sukuna has been fighting 17 people. at full power,
Yeah,
no
he probably
less.
smoke all these heroes,
For
right?
real. It's also like they were at full power too. They were ready for him actually, and he's lasted like
Yeah.
31 chapters. It kind of makes you think, why didn't they just do this to begin with? Why didn't they just jump All for One when All Might was around? But in any case, he's not doing great. This set of panels made me laugh because he's like, when the boy drove Yoichi and the successors into the core, it wasn't only the spirit that was a lost cause, but the body as well. Your limp noodle body isn't ready for it. Your limbs would pop right off. Oh no, wait, that wasn't him. This is a flashback, actually. I didn't even realize this was I thought this was All for One roasting Shigaraki's body.
Yeah.
But this is
No,
actually
it's the other way around.
Yeah. It's actually All Might roasting Deku's shitty body back in the day. But yeah, he's Deku yells that after just 2 years, it's a little stronger than what the 8th could deliver, but you're facing the power of all 9 of us. And All for One is like, yes, this body was already shattered. And he starts to disintegrate. It seems that like All for One is lost, but not really, because he uses a bunch of quirks to keep his body together. And he's like, no one can rob me of what's mine. Only my dream gets to happen. He's like, the Demon Lord is the singular and absolute. And he starts thinking to himself that he's gonna try to take over somebody's body and give them his quirks so he could take over their body, basically. So he's gonna try for a new vessel, but Deku is like, you're done, one for all, and he tries to go forward, goes at him with another punch, but unfortunately Kurogiri starts to act up again, and he apologizes to Aizawa and President Mike. It says, sorry, I must do this. And he creates a portal in between All for One and Deku one last time to protect Shigaraki. And President Mike is like, I should have known in the end he was always going to reach out with a helping hand. And he tells All for One to give back Shigaraki as he's starting to disintegrate, because it seems that Shirakumo is not doing great. He says that his friends await him. That's when Bakugo just flies in and bites Kurogiri with an explosion bite that disintegrates him entirely, it seems. We see that Todoroki helped him get up there with an ice ski jump thing, and he tells Deku that, like, he tells him, don't you dare let me surpass you, Izuku. And Midoriya says that he looks to All for One, and he says, I can't look past what you've done, but you're not some monster beyond all understanding. You're no demon lord. All you are is a lonely man. And then
He says, no, stop. Don't look at me.
don't you look at me.
That's All for One saying that. That's his last words to me to read.
Yeah, don't look at me.
Don't look at me.
Yeah. So we end up in this, I guess, like in the All for One world, or One for All world, whatever the fuck you call it, that weird subspace in that quirk. And we see a little spark that is Yoichi, the first One for All user. And he says that Midoriya managed to adjust that violent transfer in such a way that the barest fragment would remain. He did all that so he could complete off One for All as we were meant to be. And All for One is like, I don't care. None of that matters. Don't fade away. Show me your face. And Yoichi's like, too late, bro. I'm dead. And he's like, no, you can't go. When you're mine, look upon me. Let me see your eyes. And Yoichi is like, sorry, brother. I couldn't guide you down the right path.
Brother.
What Midoriya can see for us here is our final salvation at the end of it all. And All for One starts tweaking. He's like, no, I won't allow it. I love you. I love you not like no other. I'm hopeless without you. I'm nothing. And Yoichi said it's time to pay the price for exploiting all for yourself, because he awakened more than just me. And we see in the background the former users of All for One plus Shigaraki pulling up behind him, and they basically sandwich him with an ultimate attack, blowing up All for One. And we get a final scene with Shigaraki and Midoriya. Shigaraki thinks to himself that he thought he was annihilated, but somehow his grandmother kept him from fading away completely, and so did Kurogiri. He said, I stole my body back from my master, but I never managed to destroy a thing. You know, he's like, maybe I am just a little kid, like crying little kid, like you said. I couldn't even destroy your hands. Midoriya tells him that he couldn't let everything stand, everything that Shigaraki did. That's why he fought. He said, I wanted to stop you. I wanted you to stop yourself, to keep that grief and misery from spreading any further. And Shigaraki tells Midoriya that if Spinner survived, to tell him that even to the bitter end, Tomura Shigaraki kept fighting to destroy. Midoriya says it's already been destroyed. And the chapter ends with a big splash page of Midoriya punching so hard, basically, that the sky split and the sunlight peeks through. And that's the end of the chapter. Josh, what did you think about My Hero Academia, chapter 423?
Well, I can see this as one of the last chapters. Maybe there's about 5 or 10 left. I don't really want to give more thoughts into that specifically. I'm just saying that I have some final thoughts that I'm just gonna save. But that aside, man, he fucking wrecked All for One. That was pretty sweet. He started shattering and then tried to keep his fucking body back alive. I mean, you know, like you said, he got washed. He lost in almost every phase. The only person he beat the dude with the wings. Don't remember his name.
Hawks?
Raven, Eagle Hawk.
Hawks?
What?
You say Eagle Hawk?
Hawks. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I did. I did.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 different birds in one. Anyway, yeah, he beat Hawks. He beat the Shadow Kid, I guess, and all those other heroes. He kind of washed them, but after that, he lost each of his other interactions. He lost against Shigaraki and All for One. He lost. Not Shigaraki. He lost against. All for One lost against Endeavor, and a few of the other heroes over there. He lost against Bakugo. He just lost against Midoriya. Like you a L. You a pack, bro. That's it. This is it. You faded. That last picture we got was nice because the scene I knew like he was getting hit physically and spiritually. So that you can't come back from that. You see the black and the white merging. That's the yin and the yang canceling him the fuck out in the middle. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He silver-lined his shit. I like that.
Would it be fair
Silver-lined him
to
up.
say that All for One got ass whooping of the week?
Yeah. Yeah. Ass whooping.
It's been a while since
Oh,
we played
yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
I missed that drop.
Yeah, he is gone now.
That brother is gone.
Yeah. But it looks like Shigaraki's gone too.
I
did
guess
not
so.
foresee that.
Yeah, I don't
There's
know.
reincarnation
I don't know.
or something.
His body's gone. His body is
He was a
ash.
victim, bro.
Bro was vaporized.
He started crumbling away. He was like, bro, I couldn't even destroy your hands. Izuki could have been like, well, you got me. I just cheated. It's okay, but whatever. He lost overall. Yeah, and he told him, Izuki, he said, if Spinner survived this, tell him that even to the bitter end, Shigaraki kept fighting to destroy. And then he said, and then Izuku says it's already been destroyed. I don't know what he's talking about specifically. Does he mean his Shigaraki's soul?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Or that was kind of weird.
Maybe society he's
Maybe
talking
that was
about.
Shigaraki saying that.
Maybe Hero Society as we know it has been destroyed.
Oh, so he did it. Yeah, I mean, this is all right. This was part of the final thoughts I had, but I wanted to see maybe how things could change. Like, there was a lot of points brought up throughout the final arc in war, whatever. One of the major points was the heroes that looked like creatures and stuff being I guess oppressed in a way for the lack of a better word, and that that was a result of just society being the way it was. That wasn't something that All for One generated, right? I mean, he didn't like plant the seed of hate for people to not like. Was there a name for those type of heroes with those quirks? Did they have a name for them?
Which types?
Like the quirks that people look like different.
Oh, heteromorphs.
I feel like they had a
called them?
name that heteromorphs. Yeah, there we go. So like, yeah, All for One wasn't the reason that there was um you know damn, why can't I, it's not racism.
Just prejudice.
Prejudice, thank you. Thank God, man. Don't do drugs, guys. Don't weed kids. Um yeah, like it wasn't All for One's fault. In fact, yeah, he was the fault for a lot of different things, but not that. So I guess throughout Shigaraki changing, like breaking society, that was one of the things you can say like he did, through his hands, like indirect. Even though it was like indirectly, you could argue that's what Spinner was fighting for from the beginning. Like, he knew Shigaraki wanted to destroy society as it was, and like rebuild it one way or another. And Spinner was down for that because he didn't like how heteromorphs were treated. And I think that was nice. I think that was something I put together in my head, as I was like reading this. And this war has been dragged for so long, for better or worse, I'm not really complaining. But I kind of lost track of certain story beats. So it was nice that he brought up Spinner. Like, that was really his homie.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, he was close. The crew was tight in general.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Spinner really fucked with Stain. Like, Stain was really his idol. And then he grew to be close with Shigaraki. But I would also agree. I mean, I would also say the rest of the villain, like the League of Villain members. So I don't know why he just mentioned Spin. I mean, no, I mean, we know why. The reason he mentioned Spinner, I guess, was for the sake of a new world he wanted. But it was, I don't know. I felt like I had to dig a little bit for that.
Yeah, I think maybe Spinner specifically, because Spinner had a more focused goal of reorienting Hero Society or society in general. Like, Toga wanted to be kind of just like herself. Dobby wanted to like get back at his dad. Compress was there. I don't know why. I feel like he's just there because he's from like a villain lineage, you know. But Spinner is the only. Spinner probably just had just notions of changing society, just like Shigaraki did. And they actually like debated a lot, I think. throughout the series of, what they're doing, what was the point of what they're doing.
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the villain arc, when they was all in that shack hanging out, Spinner was kind of pressing, like, what are we doing? Like, we just been hanging out, fighting against this big fucking monster guy for the past, like, week or so. So, yeah, that makes sense. I don't really have any more thoughts, actually. Well, what are your thoughts on this chapter?
For all intents and purposes, I liked it. I really like the last page because it is kind of a callback to when All Might basically changed the weather with a punch. That was a cool moment. I liked that panel with Shigaraki and Midoriya clashing to destroy All for One. I knew it would happen. I knew that Shigaraki would come and like have a hand in All for One's demise. I didn't think he'd die as a result. If that's what they're going for. It's kind of crazy that Shigaraki dies if this is the route they're going. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I'm not feeling negative per se, but I'd like to see where they go with this. So yeah, I guess there's going to be some epilogue chapters after this. I'm pretty sure Midoriya is not going to have a quirk anymore after this.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
Which makes sense. It is kind of a cyclical development for him. He went from someone with no power to great power and back home to no power, which is kind of like a hero's journey, literally, type of thing. So I appreciate that in a sense, in some kind of a meta narrative sense. It is kind of cool that it is just kind of like the hero's journey of, call to action, going on the adventure and then returning home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like it is just all dependent on the next few chapters and how they wrap up. But so far, I think this is like a conclusion I didn't not see coming, but I'm happy I read it and I thought there was like cool moments in it. I still think that All for One himself is kind of a weak villain. He just doesn't do it for me, I guess. He's too much of a mustache twirly villain, and I feel like all this stuff about how he loved his brother could have been explored more in their flashback, because we only had like half a chapter or so, or like a really short chapter dedicated to All for One's flashback for being the final villain. I don't know. I feel like All for One could have been deeper, I guess, if he was going to be the end all. But that's it. That's really all I thought about it. I did like. I did think that Kurogiri coming in to save Shigaraki one last time was cool, because it makes sense for him. Kurogiri has had the express like mission of protecting Tomura for a while, so it's cool that he came back as one of the more loyal members of Shigaraki's gang. It's funny that he got bit to death by Bakugo, though. I guess he's gone for real, too. That was Aizawa's friend.
Yeah, he probably faded.
But yeah, I thought this chapter was cool. I love that last page. I think it's very, very nice. Looking forward to seeing how Horikoshi brings us all together.
Yeah. I'm very curious.
Take it home, Horikoshi, and then you could go on your long vacation that you deserve, to be honest. But yeah, those are all my thoughts. You ready to move on to the next one?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty then. Let's move onward.
Fi meg pick den inn i det kjære min som jeg kan chat.
Jujutsu Kaisen. This is Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 260 in Inhuman Makyo Shinjuku Showdown part 32. Last we left off, it was looking pretty bad. Sukuna has been doing a bunch of binding vows and whatnot to be able to use the Divine Flame.
More than a few.
More than a few. To be able to use not only his domain of Malevolent Shrine again, but also use it as a jumping off platform to be able to use Divine Flame. And he basically combined both of those techniques into one to create just like a fucking hypothermic furnace to burn all his enemies in. So that's pretty extreme. But out of the fucking darkness, it seems that they were mostly saved. We don't know to what degree, but Todo has returned.
The champ is here!
With a reinstated Boogie Woogie technique. And we are now going to see how that works in this new chapter, where he pulls off the bandages and we see that his hand, where his hand was, is actually a vibroslap, which is a percussion instrument that's just mounted onto the stump of his arm. I'll tell you what, I didn't expect that. I don't know what I expected, but I didn't expect this.
Yeah, nothing close to the realm of that.
No. But yeah, we get an explanation that this is a vibroslap, which is a percussion instrument consisting of a ball connected to a wooden box with metal pieces inside. So, you know, I don't need to explain what a vibroslap is from there. But Todo hits it, and then all of a sudden they're just like kind of floating in this space. Obviously, this is a manga, so it's hard to convey exactly what's going on here. But we get the narrator explaining that Todo replaced his lost left hand with a vibroslap and changed the condition for activating Boogie Woogie from a clap to a metal piece hitting a wooden box. This way, he became able to perform approximately 50 position swaps per second. So when that thing is just like clapping along, they're swapping the entire time for at least 50 times. And they're going at random. So they're switching at random. And we see that Todo stops it. And they are able to just get the jump on Sukuna like they usually do. This is their usual formation. And they start jumping this guy again. We get further explanation that Todo has also entered a binding vow, limiting the number of swaps per strike on the vibroslap. Todo can select multiple curse techniques targets and expand the effective range. This is how he was able to use the Boogie Woogie to help people escape the Malevolent Shrine just now. So now he can like really pick and choose, I guess, multiple curse techniques per clap, I think is what they're saying. So, yeah. We get Sukuna thinking just like among sorcerers, this one goes about things his own way, at his own pace, which makes things difficult to beat him, makes it difficult to beat him down. To be honest, he showed up at the worst time. We see that Todo swaps places with Sukuna once again, and I don't know, he said like he jumped in midair. That this part is kind of like confusing to me. But for whatever reason, he was able.
He used the double jump.
Oh, I
like
see.
in the video game.
To avoid like a kick from Todo.
Yeah.
But that's when Itadori comes in and just fastballs a rock towards Sukuna, which Todo then switched places with. And Itadori just drop kicks Sukuna through a building, basically. But Sukuna quickly recovers and grabs Itadori by the face. Todo then does some switchy rooskies around to get Sukuna off of him, basically. And he continues to switch at random. Sukuna is just thinking to himself, like, man, if he can freely adjust the maximum and minimum amount of swaps per tap, then it's practically impossible to get used to Boogie Woogie. So, but he realizes that there's one point where he can accurately read the timing of the shifting positions. And it is when Itadori is at maximum concentration. He'll faint without swapping, even if he taps the instrument. And that's when he strikes. And as that seems to be happening, we see one of Mei-Mei's birds enter the area. Sukuna realizes this, and Itadori, I guess he switches Itadori out with the bird. And, oh wait, there's no swap. I guess I'm confused here. I remember reading this feeling kind of confused. Because Todo seems to clap it, but there's no swap. And he is like right next to Itadori. Oh, I think he was thinking that like they were going to swap the bird with Itadori, so he just went for the bird immediately. But they didn't swap this time. Okay, I think I put it together in my head. Todo didn't swap it. So he just kicked the bird, leaving himself open to a black flash from Itadori. And a black flash so tough, he actually pierces Sukuna's skin. And I guess he's like trying to pull his fucking heart out, which is nuts. But then we see that Sukuna starts to take the domain expansion pose again. We get the narrator saying that Sukuna is highly efficient with cursed energy. So even with cursed energy reduced to Yuta Okotsu's level, it's possible for him to open a domain countless times as long as he restores the burnt out curse technique. I think he says domain expansion, but then he looks over and he sees that there's a ghost with immense strength who he buried with his own hand, and it looks like Gojo is also back. But we don't really get to
Sotoro Gojo.
Yeah, but we don't really see his whole face. It looks a lot like him, but we don't know. Something tells me it's a little more complicated than just Gojo's back. But that was Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 260. Josh, what did you think?
Holy shit is what I thought. Nah, I'm gonna keep it a star. I was talking pretty tough about Todo coming back late, and also the fact that he wasn't gonna get caught up with the teleportation. It's just like the previous people they fought. But yeah, Sukuna got washed this whole entire chapter. Just like Alphamon was getting washed. It's kind of crazy. It's like Midoriya punch sent a shockwave through all of the chapters that caused all the villains to like lose a step. That was a transcendent hit from Midoriya.
Transcendent.
Prompts me to want to retroactively give My Hero Academia the RGC just off of that alone. But it's gotta go. It goes to Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, same for me, to be honest.
Unified RGC! Unified RGC! Unified RGC!
Your boy came in with a cowbell and started, blending Sukuna's world around as we knew it. It was work. Like he came in with a percussion instrument, and it with an even better version of its ability before. Unless I'm bugging.
No.
Unless I'm mistaken, but this seems to be better. He seemingly saved everybody, got everybody the fuck out of there. Probably has been in the first place. He's probably been the one behind all of this. Now that I'm thinking about it, like through all of the disappearing.
Well, no, I was like the teleporting kid who was like teleporting everybody, but I think they were saving him for that moment for when they needed to get multiple people out at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how like Sukuna was getting crossed up so much he couldn't even land any uh any of his slashes on Higuruma. Higuruma on Toto. Oh, I'm off tonight. Um Toto really just came in and was fucking unscathed. I mean, it's only one chapter, right?
Yeah.
Like, Sukuna got hit up, and I'm sure the fight's still gonna go on from here. But man, how fucking insane is it that it seems that Gojo has appeared? I'm gonna be straight up with you, and we can have an open conversation about it. You know, you don't have to wait. But I think that that's either one, just literally his corpse being reanimated. It's not Gojo at all, like literally just like a puppet type situation. Two, it's literally like a spiritual projection or something like that.
Mm.
Just yeah, again, not really Gojo. Or three, he turned into a cursed spirit. See, I thought about something, right? When you're at the when he's at the airport, right? Again, the airport, not everyone goes to the airport. That's just a figure of speech. But with Gojo, when he was at the actual airport, um, one of the characters said you can either go south or north, right? And when he said south, you get to be who you get to like revisit who you were or whatever, or stay as you are. Or if you go north, you get to, you move on to something new. I think that was a way of saying that do you want to remain in this world with regrets as a cursed spirit, or do you want to move forward? Um I don't remember if Gojo answered that one way or another. I want to say he chose north. But
Yeah.
if there was no clarification of that, or even if he said he wanted to choose north, it's plausible to say that we're gonna continue that uh that that little flashback of him being in the afterlife and possibly him saying like, yeah, I'd like to go north, but I need to remain and do something. I made a promise and I had, unfinished, whatever, blah 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 blah. That, in my opinion, would be the closest and most legitimate way to justify Gojo coming back. Only as a cursed spirit and as one that's like, pretty cool or something. He doesn't have to live for the rest of the series or nothing. He could die after this fight, but that would be pretty, you know. I wouldn't have. That would have been a very creative way to bring him back without him really being back. So that was all my thoughts on like the chapter and on that Gojo matter. So I guess I'll throw it to you.
Yeah. So I guess I actually went back to that chapter, and it's funny. When I was
Okay.
like scrolling past it, I hit it on my first try.
Wow.
Yeah.
What number is it?
Two.
Because that's the most epic chapter of it all. That one.
236.
236 is legendary. That
Yeah.
is that the most legendary Jujutsu Kaisen?
I would say it's pretty big. Yeah, it's tough to say because I think Nanami is.
Like we could say certain arcs were better, but
I think it's definitely
chapter
like
alone.
one of the greatest. It has to be one of the most seismic chapters of the series. But
Two.
okay, so
Not two.
Nanami talks about how Mei told him once that if you want to start anew, head north. If you want to return to your old self, head south. And he chose south.
Oh.
And Nanami chose south. So I don't know. I don't know if maybe it's not necessarily that. Gojo. The thing is, Gojo looks happy to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has any.
He could be happy to see everyone.
Yeah, because that whole scene ends with him
Right.
saying that he's praying it's not his imagination. So I don't know. I don't know if he would choose to come back. I don't know if you choose to come back as a curse necessarily. You either do or you don't. It just kind of happens.
Yeah.
I think the idea of cursed spirit Gojo is an interesting one. I don't know how plausible it is. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, because rules are not firmly established so far. There's always like little loopholes or whatever. Because we never got to see anybody become a cursed spirit, so it makes sense that Gojo could become one.
Only the girl's brother,
Which girl's brother?
Maki's brother.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, him. Huh. Yeah, I guess so. I guess he was happy to come back as a cursed spirit. I can see Gojo coming back as a cursed spirit. I think that's a really good theory.
So he said Nanami chose south.
I think at the time when Mei Mei gave him, told him the option. Not when he died.
But
Yeah, when he was talking about the North-South thing, he was recalling a conversation he had with Mei Mei back in the day. About
we need to
travel.
go back to the chapter.
Yeah.
We should continue to talk.
Yeah. Yeah, all I know is it's definitely not as simple as Gojo's back. There's got to be something more to it. It wasn't as simple as Todo is back. So why would it be as simple as Gojo's back? I think all the options you presented are very feasible. Some kind of illusion, some kind of cursed spirit, Gojo. I'm very excited to find out what it is. The thing I was spoiled about, it didn't happen here. So, I guess me and Josh met up to watch the next game on Saturday, and he watched me get potentially spoiled. What I saw was something different and clearly not real because it didn't happen at all.
Oh, nice.
What I saw was Okotsu using purple.
Oh, that would have been so sick.
Yeah, it was a 2-page spread of him using purple, which I thought, and it's feasible because copy techniques, but that would be crazy. Another thing I saw was Gojo with the stitches on his head, like Kenjaku was, like Geto.
Oh,
So that's also
would've been
possible, to be honest. Like
insane.
maybe there was like some kind of weird transplant going on there. Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know.
they figured out the same technique that Kenjaku uses to transfer brain. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that Kenjaku's. But they introduced the idea of transference. Bringing people into different bodies. So maybe, just maybe, they implanted Gojo's being into someone else. I don't know who it would be, but it could be anything, to be honest. Like the power system is so expansive, and there's so many things that are still unknown about it that it could literally be anything. Overall, it's pretty sick to see Todo back doing his thing on a high-powered level where he's just swapping 50 times a second. But yeah, I'm glad he was able to come back and make a difference and be just the cool-ass Todo that we all know. I'm excited to see what happens next. I don't have many thoughts outside of that. This was just such a fun chapter to read. I'm into it. I'm ready for what's next. Do you have any rebuttals, Josh?
Yeah, man. I'm reading chapter 236 and I just re-traumatized myself.
It's rough.
Gojo says, I told one of my students, didn't I? That when it's your time, you die alone. Please tell me this is just my imagination. And then Kenjaku, no, not Kenjaku, Geto. He says, does it matter either way? And just for him at the end of this little situation for him to say, "I pray that this all is in my imagination." I mean, goddamn, this is what a fucking chapter. What a chapter. I mean, this added to the added impact.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, the chapter before the he blew this nigga. I'm sorry. I'm revisiting drama. It's bad. No rebuttals. We can move on.
All right, let's get going.
Holy shit.
Kagurabachi. This is Kagurabachi, chapter 33, Defend to the Death. Last we left off with Kagurabachi, Chihiro was locked in battle with the main antagonist of the series, it seems. I forget this fucking guy's name because he's new. But, he's very sly, and he seems to have a plan. And even though he got like stabbed up or something last chapter, he doesn't seem to be too bothered by it.
No,
but
not very much at all.
no. Chihiro made it to the other side of this weird tree wall thing, and managed to rescue Hakuri, who was in the middle of battle with his brother. And the tree thing starts to heal up, and we see that the what's her face? I forget her name, but the Kamunabi girl shows up and is about to fight this guy. He's like, "Were you rejected? Do you want
The
me?"
flame bone.
The flame bone. He's like, "Do you want me to comfort you?" And the guy remembers that, like, Chihiro's like, "I'll kill you one day, I promise." And he's like, "No, I feel fully satisfied. Besides, it's the Sazanami's job it's the Sazanami who are the ones who have to risk their lives today to protect the Rakuzachi's integrity. The rest is up to them." And then he teleports away. But more of the
I don't need to fight.
I already did my part of foreshadowing what's to come in this series. I'll see you later. So the more Sazanami people pull up, and they are about to fight the Bone Lady, Firebone Woman. And they're like, "I don't care if you work for the government. Anybody who interferes with the Rakuzachi dies." So they're gonna fight. The
Rocks Mafia.
Yeah. Daddy Sazanami is getting the crowd hyped up. Say that, like, "We deliver products of the highest value, come." And we get a flashback of damn, I just saw this kid. Hakuri and the other Tenri getting to see the stage. The Sazanami dad explains that the Sazanami rule that passion and value for the people. We stand at the very top. You two are special, and only the Sazanami clan possesses the privilege of standing on the stage. No one else is permitted to stand on it. In all history, nobody has ever violated this zone. He says the Sazanami's elite forces, have protected that tradition over the years. It's proof that we're special. And we cut over back to the teleporty guy who has fucking beat the shit out of all of the Sazanami children that were there. He lights a cigarette and he puts it right across this kid's eye, Tenri's eye. And he says, "How does the door open? Go on, or your eyes are an ashtray." The other ones are laid out. It's not looking good. He says that you're the strongest Sazanami, right? And you've got no trump cards left. This perverted festival of yours is over. One of the Sazanami siblings is like, "All right, I'll tell you how to open the door." And Tenri is like, "No, over my dead body." He's like, "I won't let anyone interfere." We cut back to a flashback once again to Tenri, who is talking about how Hakuri is not he's 1 year older, but he is not special. If people found out about my idiot brother, my father would be disgraced. And he's like, he apparently single-handedly crushed a defected faction, and he's the youngest toe in all of history, the elite forces. And the father, Daddy Sazanami, says that this isn't just favoritism because you're my son. It's the indisputable fruits of your efforts, and I'm proud of you. And he says that he has to make his father proud. Something teleports in and drops on the floor before him. And we get another flashback of Daddy Sazanami with the main villain guy. I don't remember if they said his name, but they explain that this is Genichi Sojo's legacy. He says now that he's gone now, he was obliterated before reaching the realm of Kunishige Rokuhira, but he was an undeniable genius, and this weapon commands temporary stability of the Daten Seki. In other words, powers that rival the enchanted blade. So he says, choose carefully when to use it. The effect is temporary. Your body won't be able to contain the flood of spirit energy. And Daddy Sazanami whispers to himself, Tenri, defend to the death. And he says, yes, sir. He grabs it. He grabs the thing. And a jellyfish spirit appears behind him. Chiba, now that I remember this guy's name, he says, hey, what is that? He's like, it's a physical manifestation of spirit energy. The special spirit energy reaction of an enchanted blade. We cut back to Chihiro and Hakuri as they're trying to escape, but they are going up against the older brother once again. Hakuri, he basically looks at them all scary and is just like, enough, you're dead. And Hakuri is like, man, I never seen him look like that before. Scary. He tells Chihiro to chill for a second. He's like, Cloud Gouger's got only a few attacks left. Save him for the right time. And he says that the reason that Chihiro didn't slit Soya's throat is probably because he's hesitant to kill my brother. To Sazanami, he's only a tiny bud that's been finally sprouted. But now that the wall is broken, the genius blood that flows within him accelerates into that blossoming. And Hakuri gets that black eye and he says, I'll handle this. And that's where the chapter ends, with Hakuri going up against his brother. Josh, what did you think about Kagurabachi chapter 33?
Excuse me. This was a jam-packed chapter as far as information
Oh,
goes.
yeah. Lots of stuff going on.
Starting off from the beginning with the sorcerer, who I don't think he named himself. Maybe he named the group of people that attacked his father. I don't remember, but that special sorcerer that planted some seeds for the future. I thought it was really cool how they kind of brought him in out of nowhere. It makes sense. They're top tier sorcerers that would be hired to help out for this huge event. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. Kind of spice things up. I'm kind of glad the flame bone chick isn't gonna fight him, because that would have been like, winner. Like, there wouldn't have been a winner of that fight, because either of them would have ended up looking really lame. So I'm glad that they're not gonna fight. Speaking of the flame bone chick, I think the whole reason Akiri feels confident that he could take on his older brother, even though he's starting to, I guess, accelerate in his abilities. Like, I think he knows that chick is on the other side and will assist him. Especially since she will recognize him from before. She doesn't already. When they was all together. He punched him right in the face, so he knows how strong that shit is. So I'm sure he's going to use her to his advantage the same way he used Chihiro. He's just giving off the feign of confidence to the older brother, because there's no fucking way. If this older brother loses, then their whole organization is trash.
Hooray!
Garbage. Basura. Um, and imagine being a twin and shitting on your twin like brother. That's whack. That's whack.
It's fucked up. It's not right.
I don't know who's worse, them or the twins from Jujutsu. At least they reconciled.
Yeah.
This kid's about to use all his fucking spiritual energy and chakra and all the other stuff. It's key. He's gonna use it all up in this special move and die before he gets to see his brother not be useless.
Mm-hmm.
Sad stuff. Sad stuff. Oh, by the way, he regenerated his arm. That sorcerer, the evil, nasty guy that we're going to see in the future.
Yeah.
His arm came back. He's okay.
I didn't even notice he did that.
Yeah. Right before he ran away from Flamebone.
Mm.
What are your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, this is a lot of information. A lot of lore to pack in, but I thought it was pretty good. I really do love the design of that bone weapon that she has. Every time I see it, it's just super cool. As far as the Sazanami stuff, I thought that was kind of cool. It's so cool how it just got like pwned by Sheba. Like it wasn't even close. I don't know what this guy. I don't know how long they're just gonna make him not show him fighting, because it's like, what is his deal? But hopefully after this we get to see him do some stuff. Now that Tenri is awakened this power.
Yo, Brian would be. I'm just thinking about it now. He would have been so hyped.
Oh my
talking about
god,
this
yeah.
shit. Because of the teleport guy. Like, whoa, see how strong he was? Took them all out. I'm pretty hyped too. But there's nothing like hearing Brian get hyped. He makes shit like times 10.
Yeah.
And his presence is missed.
Yeah, definitely. Shouts out to the little bro. But yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of thoughts. I'm excited to see how it goes. I'm excited to see how Hakuri goes through it too. You know, the character development for him has been pretty good so far. Hopefully, he'll be able to put a scratch on his psycho older brother. And we can get Chihiro onto more important things. But something tells me that Chihiro is going to be the one to step on the stage, to be the first person who's not a Sazanami to get on that stage. And it's probably a trap. It's probably like some kind of spell that prevents people from being up there. Something will happen. But those are all my thoughts. Josh, do you have any rebuttals or anything?
No. Imagine this kid actually is mad nice and starts like using Darth Vader level force pushes.
He might. He looks like he's
Starts
about to.
choking him, and he's like, "You're always insignificant."
And he's like, no, I'm not. And he uses a cool force push. He does a very unique power, I bet.
Yeah, shoots him out of like the fucking house and sent him flying like Team Rocket.
Yeah, like Kumadori.
Yes, send him away.
All right. Ready to move on?
X unfortunately sent us tossed our ass to Cancun.
Yeah. Well, at least the boys get to
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah, finally they get to
Get to recover
God.
and rest the Knicks. But anyway, all right. I'm going to move onward then.
He said, "Is this ice, dickhead? Is it cold?"
It's a good old drop. Undead Unluck. And with that, I'm going to pass this over to Josh.
Undead Unluck, chapter number 207. One more time.
One more
Actually,
time.
that was the alternate title. The real title is One More Time.
Hmm.
But yeah, one more time sounds better. So last chapter, Nico, Ichiko, and Fang, all three union members, finally defeated the Master Rule language in a game of Deadly Shiratori. And man, they all grew. They all got stronger. Even Ichigo, in a way. Well, more into that later. So the language proved to be the ultimate. What's opposite of sore loser? What's the opposite of sore well loser?
Good sportsman, well loser.
Good sport. There we go. In an epic display of sportsmanship, with her last move grants Nico and Ichiko wedding rings for them to be married on the spit out. And I mean, I guess a master rule has at least equal to, or if not greater, um stature than like a priest or like a government paid official to marry somebody. So that counts in my book.
Yeah, language was certified
That
online.
was yeah, yeah. And certified through her abilities.
Yeah, she was
was
anointed.
language.
Oh, what was it? There's a specific word for it. I think it's anointed or something.
Escapes me, bro. Well, anyway, that was all last week. Started this week. We see Fuko screaming and crying in Nico's face, saying, "I'm sorry. If I came sooner, you wouldn't have had to turn into unforgettable." And he's like, "Listen, we handle business, all right? It all worked out, but Fuko's like, nah, like what happened? Tell me what, like, how it went down. But before that, I gotta tell you something. I got a grasp on souls, and I'm gonna teach everybody how to do this shit so we can all be way stronger, and it's going to be lit." Um, there's a. All right, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but anyway, it's funny because Nico starts talking about how like he was able to perceive souls. It helped him. Oh, okay. This was interesting. So because of his ability to perceive souls, he was able to handle the massive information attack from Apocalypse when he gained the Negator, the unforgettable ability. But what happened in the last loop was that he forgot about Ichigo and I guess all the important people from his past because of the new memories that started flooding in. Like he got kind of lost in the sauce. He couldn't find those memories anymore. Which is kind of crazy. I have thoughts about that later. But yeah, so it's crazy because he starts breaking it down like how he used soul abilities uh to help get out of that, to help like have him remember Ichigo. But anyway, Foucault goes on to say that through the use of we can enhance our negation abilities for all of the union members, and that way we'll be able to take on the master rules. But we have three more people to get. That's Tatiana, which is untouchable, Bunny, which is unback.
I don't even know what that means, bro.
Weird. Right.
Like you can't go
I have
back.
thoughts on that. Yes. And Kururu, which is unchaste.
Unchaste.
I wish we had cameras. I'm looking at the mic, but I'm really looking at you
Why?
because unchaste, bro.
It's unchaste.
So anyway, chastity belt or chastity belt?
No, I mean it's chastity belt, but like the word chaste is chaste.
Oh,
Chastity is its own thing. It's like it means the same thing. It's a separate.
like run and ran.
It's the state of being chaste, is what chastity is. But chaste is like the root word, I think.
Oh. Well. It looks like we're gonna have a whole arc to be able to dive into that ability,
Oh yeah.
which we will, which we'll get into why pretty soon. But so Fugo's like, yeah. So we're gonna teach them all, and we're gonna be able to beat all the master rules and win this manga. It's gonna be fucking lit. And Nico's like, yeah. Oh, by the way, like we already learned how to use soul. That's how we went against land. Like I literally just told you that before. And Fugo's super duper fucking surprised. And she's like, okay, so you know what? Then that means that all three of you guys can help teach the rest of the union members. But it's kind of funny because Fugo asks, like, yo, like, did you guys see like the previous like users of like the negation ability? And Nico didn't, but Ichiko said she did see the people, and it was a funny interaction because she met them and was like, oh, like I'm coming right back, like he's gonna revive me. And it was like, huh? Like just super casual like that. So she didn't have much of a conversation. So their spiritual awakening was different. Fang didn't really share how he got, to that space or whatever, if he spoke to anybody. I mean, his ability is unfade, which would make me believe that he'd be the only person ever to have it, because he probably got it and just have never died. Like, unless other users had it and then they died from other means. Because unfade is only for age, right? From what I remember. For Fang. His,
Oh yeah, I
negation
guess so.
ability is
Yeah. He did. That's why he stayed young for so long.
Yeah. But I have 100 that he was the first person to get it and kept it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes the most sense to me. So he's unwilling to help Fugo out, but then says he has his own selfish reasons for helping out Fang learn the spiritual skills. And then Fugo's like, oh, okay. While you're at it, teach his girlfriend and teach a couple other people who are gonna be over there too. And he's like, nah, fuck out of here, but he gonna do it. And then Nico's like, all right, bet. So we're gonna break up into 3 groups, right? So Nico's gonna go after Tatiana because he has to create the spear for her untouchable anyway, to like contain her. Ichiko is gonna go for Unback. Unback, also known as Bunny. And she says, I'm pretty sure her state in the last loop can be avoided using my astral projection method. I don't get it. But we'll talk about it more later. I kind of get it, but it's whatever. We'll talk about it later. And then that leaves Fuko with Karuru. And Fugo's like, nah, that's not a good idea because her unchaste. She has a trigger? No, let me stop. Her unchaste will trigger at a live concert. There's gonna be a ton of people, and her unluck could like end up touching one of them and creating a fucking huge disaster. Blah 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 blah. And Nico's like, nah, listen, you ought to go because your mom is here. And Fugo sees her mom, and he's like, oh, so you never caught like you never kept up with her? And she's like, nah. Like I never like dug in, to see what my family was doing. Which does pose a really good question, since Fuko looped, like I guess her parents never got together and had her, because she doesn't exist in this world, only as another. Yeah, I think that's how it works. That's crazy. Instead of being reincarnated in the next loop, you end up reincarnating your parents' situation. That's fucking hilarious.
That's nuts.
But I guess her mom was like a pop idol or something like that. So, Yeah, so Fuko has the chance to meet her mother, and that is the end of the chapter. Brian, what are
Brian's
your
not
deep
here.
and intricate thoughts about? Oh,
But Brian's not here.
oh, my bad, my bad. So I guess I had to go to Chris. What
I
do you
guess
thoughts?
so. I guess you have to go to me. I thought this was a really interesting chapter. I also don't understand how Ichiko is gonna stop Bunny from getting unback.
May I rebut?
Hmm?
May I rebuttal?
Please.
So what I think is gonna happen is that she wears that bunny suit because she can only go forward because since she's unback, like she can't turn back or something like that. So she has to keep moving forward and runs into shit. So she has to have that bouncy suit. So maybe she could
Mm,
put her astral projection out. So as a spirit, she could float around and do what she wants, or keep going forward and where that doesn't matter because she'll pass through shit. So she'll
mm.
keep her in astral projection mode. I don't know, something like
I
that.
feel like that's a good guess. I mean, I don't know what unback means. I don't know. I don't remember if we've ever seen her use it.
I'm going on the wiki. It's gonna make me lag, but I don't care.
I don't
Let me
care.
look at my phone.
I feel like we've definitely seen Kururu's negation before. I just don't
I
remember
don't
how.
remember it.
Because she was like, when they were rescuing Fuko, she was there and she did use it for a second, but I don't remember what the effect was and who got affected. So I don't know. Maybe it just makes people like crazy attracted to her. And that's my guess there. But the twist regarding Fuko's mom is something I did not see coming at all. We've never even spent any significant time talking about Fuko's parents. So it's going to be interesting seeing them meet up, especially since Fuko's an adult at this point and this theoretically happens before she was born. Like the time she's in is technically before she was even born. So it'd be good to get to know her mom, and maybe they might even introduce her dad in this arc as well, just to kind of get it out of the way. But yeah, no, I am excited to see how this goes. Fuko's parents are the tragedy that gave Fuko her negation. So,
Yeah.
it'll be cool if she can find a way to make it not happen this time. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Do you have any rebuttals at all, or did you find what you were looking for on the wiki?
A little bit. Well, they said that I think it's more as a matter of like unback as in you can't get back. Like you can't get something back. Like steals things. She was using shells or something like that. Read the description. Though the details remain unknown, so it hasn't really been confirmed. Unback allows the user to touch something and cover it in a shell of a white solid material that will fully encase it and render it unable to get back,
Hmm.
be it get back out of the shell or get back an item. The user seems to share a connection with the shells. For example, when it was used to contain an entity with an extremely high body temperature, the user began to cook alive. Oh,
Hmm.
so it store the current user is also permanently trapped inside a bunny costume due to this ability. Oh, she was unable. She's probably unable to get back herself.
Hmm.
So she got trapped in a bunny suit. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know, dog.
Yeah. So the suit itself seems to work alongside the ability as it managed to catch a gun in the suit's ear and swallow it into the suit's hand. I don't know, bro.
I mean, yeah, I don't know
I
either.
feel like we're not even going to get that arc because Fuko's not going to be there.
We might see like a sneak peek of it or something. I don't know. Might spend a second on it. I have no idea. But that's all I had to say about Undead Unluck. Do you have anything left?
Negative.
Alrighty then. With that being said, that has been our show. Thank you guys so much for listening. As per usual, you can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram, Josh at JDCole_37 on Instagram, at New Jump City Josh on Twitter. Brian is at b.esp on Twitter and Instagram as well. You can follow the show at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube. Leave a comment, like, share, all that stuff. Email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about, and we'll get on it on the pre-show chat show that we do pretty much every week. Subscribe, like, all that stuff. You know, we're on audio platforms all over. Check that out. That's it for this week's show. Thank you guys for listening. Stay safe, New Jump citizens.
Peace out, yeah.